This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in the community of Denver, Colorado. I am here with Vive, Family Support Program. Since 2001, they have been ensuring lasting positive change while providing therapeutic support for individuals and their families out here in the community. I'm here with Kara. Thanks so much for joining us here today. You are the regional director of the state of Colorado here. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. You have a master's degree in counseling psychology. You've been involved with the program here since 2005, but yet many years before that, you've been involved in this type of industry all the way back to 1997. Share with me a little bit how it is you got involved with this program.
So I started working in mental health when I was still in college myself. Just continued, and after undergrad, I was working at a psych hospital in Indiana, and then I moved out here in 2001, and then I went immediately to grad school, here local to Naropa University in Boulder. And then when I graduated, I heard about Vive. They were still very new, but I heard about Vive because they actually had done some marketing with the hospital that I worked at. And I started then, and that was, 12 years ago this June. June will be my anniversary. I've been doing mentoring and now in a leadership role as the director.
That is fantastic. Let me ask you, you're dealing with preteen, adolescents, young adults, their families. Are we starting to understand as a society that really behavioral, emotional challenges can almost exist in any walk of life?
Absolutely. Yeah. We see, the myriad of different situations. There's nothing that predicts what we're going to see and how we're going to see it. It's all over the place.
There are many professionals out there that can help us. There's many different approaches out there as well. How do you compare the family system approach compared to what you've dealt with in the past?
People always ask me why I've stayed so long, and I have stayed at Vive because it works. What we do works with families because we're in the community. We are doing things that the young people are involved in. The biggest thing is we involve their parents. We are family systems. The family that comes to us gets actually 2 clinicians, all master's level and above. And so they get 2 of us, and the parents get their own person, and the young person gets their own person. And we establish how we're going to work with them based on them. So we don't ask them to step into our box and our way of doing things. We get to know them and what they need. And then how can we fulfill those needs? So there's a big difference between a young person that logistically just needs to know how to do a resume and find a job and get an apartment, even do laundry, as opposed to, a 14-year-old that needs more of that really deep therapeutic stuff at home and within their family. So we run the gamut of the things we provide.
That is fantastic. This interview here taking place here in the community outside. Very fitting for this organization,
Absolutely.
Quite honestly, because your therapy doesn't take place in the office. It takes place here in the community. Has that been a part that really makes this a successful piece?
Absolutely, because kids will kind of let their guard down, not sitting in an office. So there's a very distinctly different type of, even though we're all clinicians, I'm not in an office sitting on a couch asking, I still ask the same questions, Sure. But we're doing it while I'm shooting hoops or while we're going for a hike. Sometimes we'll just get our nails done. So we're doing the same things, but those inhibitions of there's this person I don't necessarily want to talk to them. We're doing it in their world, what they like to do. I've walked around this park numerous times with clients. Yeah.
So you're engaging them really in their world, basically taking care of the individuals. Yet the therapy is more than just about individuals. Many times it involves the family as well, maybe siblings or parents. Tell me why they're important in that as well.
Well, because it's not just one person that is the issue, right? It's a systemic thing. And so, especially if the kid is living at home, the parents are with them 24/7. We only see them a couple hours a week. And so there's always a dynamic that everybody's involved in. And so we want to get all the players involved. That's why the parents have their own clinician. And then we want to make sure that we do, at least monthly family meetings to all come together and talk as well.
It's an ongoing goal, really. A daily goal of bringing up the level of communication, bringing up the level of trust. This happens out in their world, which definitely works. And obviously that creates ongoing growth. Is that really what you're watching the whole time?
Absolutely. And we are well aware that sometimes there's setbacks, and that's a part of the growth. And so it's just a matter of how do we coach people to not make decisions out of fear? How do we coach people to keep trying it, keep going, and that kind of thing. And it's just a matter of how do you do it different? And that just that simple question of challenging, like, that hasn't worked. How can we do this differently? Sure. And especially because we have multiple people involved, what's your piece? Like, instead of you, we're like, no, what's yours? What's your piece? How is your piece? And how can you do it different? So some ownership in that system.
Absolutely. These are real life solutions that you're providing out for people. Obviously skills, even setting or establishing some boundaries are those important pieces that you can touch on.
Absolutely. I mean, our parent coaches do a lot of work on establishing those in the home. So the parents having those boundaries with the kids. Kids can then also, how do you have boundaries with your peers, with maybe a romantic relationship? Boundaries in all sorts of different scenarios. And usually, if the kid is still at home, that's where it starts. But some of our kids are in college, and so their parents are maybe in another state. So those are, what are the boundaries you have? What do you think you need? How can you establish that with friends and that kind of stuff, yeah.
This has to be really kind of a different approach compared to the traditional that maybe a lot of the viewers are even used to. I like the fact that it's almost like I have a professional, somebody who is highly educated, who becomes my life coach. Is that really kind of the road you end up going down? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we are all master's level clinicians, but we don't call ourselves that. And so it's a matter of, we're just here not to tell you what to do. We're kind of that guide on the side to do it with you. So as an example, like a kid that needs, just came, maybe is in college here and needs to find a job. I'm not going to sit in a room and tell you need to go get a job. I'm going to load you in my car. We're going to go down to 16th Street and we're going to go fill out applications. And it's interesting because sometimes they don't even know how to ask for, and so maybe the first time I'll do it. So here, I'll do it, you watch. I'll go to the manager and ask for, an application and then that kind of stuff. And so it's really in the moment coaching that, all the logistics. I mean, I've taught people how to do laundry, so you do it all.
You professionals have to be quick on your feet.
Yeah.
I mean, really, pretty creative. I mean, what you're able to do out there in the field. The youth that we're dealing with, they're tech savvy. I don't care if you're talking about adolescents all the way up to college. They've got iPhones, they've got smartphones. Are you able to utilize that technology and stay in contact with them, be it cell phones, texting, or what have you?
Absolutely. So all of our kids, I call them kids, I know some of them are in their 20s, but they all have our cell phone numbers. And that is purposeful so that, if something happens, we would, that shoot us a text or give us a call in the heat of the moment. Maybe we can help coach in the moment. Maybe we can help them step back, especially even the family system. If that family is in their big stuff, they have two people, they can go to their corners and call us. And so we absolutely use, I had to go to an unlimited text service because I was always going over. And then there's also the ability to use, Google Hangouts if we need something that's over. So yeah, we absolutely use all of that for sure.
That is fantastic. So once the family coaches are put in place, tell me a little bit about what takes place at that initial assessment. What are you looking for and putting a strategy together?
Well, the beautiful thing is that our admissions department already gathers a ton of information. Wow. So when they come to us clinically, we already have a good chunk of information. Right. And what we always do is we do what we call a meet and greet, where we have the family meet kind of their clinical team before they even sign on with us, because we want to make sure that it's appropriate. The team that we decide is going to work. Because if it doesn't work, we're not going to force it, So we make sure that it fits. So in that meet and greet, it's really just to get to know you. We're not getting really into the big, deep issues. It's sure. Hey, I'm going to kind of be your person, so let's just get to know each other. And then if they do sign, then we can kind of get into the meat of stuff. And if they're coming out of a program, like say Wilderness or a therapeutic boarding school, we will have already talked to their clinicians there. So we will have the background of what they've worked on, what they've learned, what they need to work on. Yeah, so we have all that information.
You are meeting them right where they're at, Absolutely. Basically. Not only are you working with the family, because obviously they're affected, but the way I see you speak about some of the clients as kids, you become family. You really become their family. You're out there with them, and they know, without even realizing, they're going through therapy. Mm-hmm. Without them even realizing they're hanging out with their friend, and you're asking some questions that really are creating a strategy to put together that helps them.
Absolutely. It's kind of actually, one of my interview questions when I interview new clinicians is, the typical model is kind of to stand outside the big pile and talk about it, where we're going to ask you to, hike up your shoes and get in. we want you to get in, and it's going to get really intimate with these families. And the beautiful thing is, yes, I have been in different crisis situations. I've been at hospitals with, suicide thoughts, and I've been, in huge crisis situations where someone runs away and they don't contact their parents. I've also been at high school graduations, and I get the phone call that I got my acceptance letter to Regis. And so I've been I was at one, a young lady graduated from high school, and the mother saw me and hugged, and we just bawled. She's like, I never thought she was going to get here, and just thanked me. And I was like, I was able to be a part of that beautiful time. So yes, there is the complex, really deep stuff, and then there's also the joys we get to share with these families.
I mean, you're out there doing these activities, be it hiking or maybe taking place in an art class or out looking for a job, if you will. Yet you're talking about specific therapies that you use in your arsenal. Touch on a little bit like CBT, DBT. What are some of those things that are taking place out there?
Oh, I would say all of the above. It's hard to answer that one because I don't know what the person needs. So it really depends on what they need. So if they need more of the logistical stuff at DBT, sure, we can throw some of that. We don't do specific DBT because we don't have the group aspect. We're not, trained, but we have that skill set to pick from. We can also client-centered or solution-focused, or if it's brief therapy. I mean, we really just choose based on what they need. And some people aren't receptive to really thoughtful, deep, you kind of have to go through the back door. And so I think our clinicians are so skilled at, again, figuring out what they need and adapting as opposed to asking them to adapt to us.
That is fantastic. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, take a look at all the different services they provide, first of all. They have it set up very nicely. Basically, how it works, why it works, who their clients are. They've got a blog right there if you want to check out more information. They've got a great FAQ there, really questions and answers. They'll give you a real understanding of this program that began back in 2001. Obviously, very successful. Very exciting to see results, I would imagine, for someone like you. I mean, you sat there and told me about a story, and I can almost feel the emotion come out of you. Has this been rewarding work for you?
Absolutely. I mean, again, when I went back to Vive, I've been here 12 years because I get to be a part of so many people's amazing, and it's not all peaches and cream, right? There's some that don't work out well, but for the most part, I just love to be a part of young people's lives and getting to help them heal and grow.
If you have maybe a parent out there or someone that is watching, maybe they're a little apprehensive of making that phone call, maybe afraid to reach out, how important is really early detection or basically early intervention for your success?
Very much so. I mean, we do both. So we do early intervention stuff as well as transition after program. And it's great when families come to us with early intervention because there's a lot more motivation. And they might be able to, hopefully then they don't have to look at an out-of-home placement. They don't have to look at a boarding school or a wilderness program. And if we can kind of get them solid in where they are now, then it's really great. And plus, the younger we start addressing the stuff, the better for all involved.
Excellent. Last time, viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website again. Contact information is right there. This is an organization that began back in 2001. We're talking about life coach is a very weak word to use for professionals out there that have been educated to the degree that these folks have. We're talking about two people that come out there and are dealing with your parents, dealing with the child, and not just talking at them, but talking with them. I mean, that is critical that you understand this is a program that is a family support program. 2001, again, that is Vive, ensuring lasting positive change. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.